Hello, my name is Drew Solenberger, but I also go by the name Rawranks. I am a known sperm donor, meaning that I donate sperm for women who are trying to conceive, but unlike with anonymous banks, I actually meet them in person. I get to know them, screen them, make sure they're ready, and only help those who are ready to be great parents. And I'm writing this blog to help provide information and advice to women looking into known sperm donation. I'm a former moderator of one of the world's largest and, in my mind, best uh, known sperm donor websites, free website called Known Donor Registry, which I highly recommend anyone looking to find a known donor use. Uh, I'm no longer a moderator. I've resigned so that I can feel free to basically speak my mind without it reflecting on the site. Uh, but in that time, and even now, I provide extensive amount of information, advice to women looking into this process. I'll help women screen donors. I'll research them online for recipients. I provide information, advice, etc., etc. And I have already a number of written blogs on the Known Donor website. Unfortunately, I'm not a very good writer. It takes me forever to write those blogs. So this is an experiment to help me get out the information I believe women will need in a quicker manner. So these video blogs are not going to be scripted or necessarily well written. This is my goal to get information in some media quickly and easily. So hopefully you'll forgive bad lighting or if I trail off every now and then. So having said all that, let me get started on what I suppose would be my first blog, which is simply why known donation. A lot of women are actually hesitant or don't want to use known donation because it's non-traditional. However, I honestly believe that known sperm donation is one of the best possible ways to bring a child into this world. And so let me compare and contrast with the most obvious alternative, which is anonymous sperm from a bank. I hate anonymous sperm. I hate hearing anyone have to use it. I hate the very concept of it. There are some significant advantages one gets from known donation that they don't get from anonymous sperm. That there are two major advantages. The first is that you know your donor, and that's huge. You can screen your donor. You can ask questions. You can find out what his likes and dislikes are, what his family history is, what he's good at, what he isn't good at, everything. And I can't stress how important that is. This is the single biggest decision you will ever make for your child. As simple as that. No other decision will have a more significant impact on what the child will grow up to become, on who they will be as a person, than this decision you are making. This is 25% of what your child will become, since nature is usually considered to be 50% and the donor is half of that aspect. 25% of your child is going to be decided right now based off of what sperm donor you pick. This is a huge, huge decision. I don't say that to scare anyone. I think it can be a wonderful decision, but I've seen some who treat it a little too lightly. Who think any sperm they can get, as long as they have a child, that's all that matters. But this is the biggest decision you're going to make, and as such, you want a good donor. You want not just a good donor, you want an excellent donor, an amazing donor, and it's worth running after that. I have said it many times, I'll probably say it a few times in these blogs. You want to hold out for an exceptional donor, not an okay one, not a he'll do. You want exceptional because of how important this is, and it's worth any effort, any expense, anything you need to do to get an excellent donor. Because if you get a donor with just a few extra IQ points, that's going to help your child do better in life. It's going to help him to excel. It's going to help him to be a better person. And if you can guarantee your child a few extra IQ points by you choosing a slightly smarter donor, that's worth a little bit of travel. So it's worth a little bit of expense for shipping. It's worth whatever it takes to get that donor. And so this is one of the biggest advantages of known donation. To compare that to anonymous sperm, you know nothing about anonymous sperm. You know eye color, hair color, facial features. That means nothing. I'll probably go in more detail in one of my future blogs about it, but I consider personal traits to be pointless. They have no effect on the health or well-being of the child, no effect on how the child will develop, be an intelligent person, a decent human being, nothing. Whether your child has blue eyes or green eyes, he's going to be the same person. Whether he gets a few extra IQ points or is healthier because you picked a better donor, that's going to be significant. Now, banks claim that they do health screenings on donors, but they don't. They screen for STDs, and they screen that very thoroughly. I would definitely say banks have that. And I'll go into that in more detail later. If you do basic screening on donor, you can pretty much be confident about STDs. I'll go into more of that later. What they don't do is health screening for genetic risk factors for your child. They have a basic questionnaire they ask the donors, but they do not verify it. And I know for a fact donors sometimes tell the truth on those. Almost no donors actually research the information, so many of them could fail to provide relevant information because they simply aren't aware of it. But it is not unheard of for donors to not tell the full truth on those questionnaires. I know of a certain woman, I won't mention who, she found her donor and found out that he had a history of skin cancer in his family he didn't document. He had questionable skin issues that developed in cancer, and now none of the children that he donated at his sperm bank also have colorations and other concerns that may develop into cancer, and so he's done significantly harm to his children, and they weren't aware of it. Now, that's not every donor. Most donors will be honest. Most people are decent human beings. The point is, with a known donor, if they're going to lie to you, they have to lie to your face, and that's far less likely. It's very easy to fail to check a box when you're trying to get permission to donate sperm because you want $100 from a bank. It's a lot harder to lie to the face of one who's going to have to raise a child and fail to inform her of legitimate risks. And what's more, you can ask in far more detail, so you can know more about the health and health history of your donor than you ever know at a bank. If you ask them just basic information, I suggest having a health questionnaire you provide to all donors. And what's more, you can find out about personality, which you have no way of getting from a bank. You can find out about intelligence. And from a bank, you might find out whether your donor went to college or not, but you can get far more from this. So you can find out more information about the three most relevant aspects of choosing a donor: health, personality, and IQ for a known donor, the way you can't. So in my mind, anonymous sperm is trusting to chance 25% of what your child's going to become, and that's just not right. Not when you can know what you're getting out of your donor. The other advantage of known donation is that you know the donor, and therefore your child can know the donor. Now, not everyone wants the donor to be known to the child, but some do, and it is a great option to have available. Even if you don't think you want it now, maybe 10 years, 20 years down the line, the child's going to want to know, and you can say, yes, I know your donor, here's who he is. Whether the child has constant contact or maybe just a single meeting, having that as an option, even if you don't think you want it as an option, can be a wonderful chance to have, because to some children, not all, but a decent number, knowing their donor, knowing the other biological half, can be very important. And even if you never introduce a child to the donor, you can tell the child about the donor. You can say what he's done that you respected, why you chose him, why he was exceptional, why you put so much thought and effort into finding the right donor. And that alone can be a wonderful confidence builder for the child. That is not some random stranger who didn't care about them. It's someone you knew. It's someone that you made sure was a great option. And so for both of these reasons, I consider known donation to be significantly better than anonymous sperm. The third advantage, which I actually consider far less important, but others disagree with me on, is that it's significantly cheaper. Significantly cheaper. Even known donation, by far the most expensive donation option, is still cheaper than anonymous sperm on average. But the most common ways of doing donations, AI or even shipping, costs far less than anonymous sperm, and that's a significant advantage in of itself. But as I said, I believe it's worth any effort, any expense to get the best donor. So I consider the savings far less important because I want you to have the best genetic option for the child. If that required more expense, for instance, direct donation, as I said, very expensive, cheaper, but not significantly cheaper than anonymous sperm. If that's what it took to get a great donor, I would encourage everyone to go for that option rather than using some questionable local donor. So you definitely save money with this option, but I consider the ability to get what's best for your child as far more important. So that's really all I had to say here. This was short. This is mainly to introduce everyone to myself and to experiment with this blog. I hope that others are feeling a little better about considering anonymous or known donation. Please don't use anonymous sperm. In my future blogs, I'm going to focus on the other half of this story, which is how to find a great donor. Because while I will be the first to say known donation is wonderful, not every donor is wonderful. The power of known donation comes from, as I said, screening donors to find great donors. The majority of my blogs from here on out are going to be exactly that. How to screen donors, how to avoid questionable donors, and how to get someone you feel truly is worthy of using and who you feel good about using. So tune in next time. Hopefully this experiment will keep going and I'll be able to get some good advice for women in the future. Till then, good luck on your hunt. Bye.